Dallas when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. It may be the only time it's even vaguely reminiscent of this one.
I certainly know that in my experience that the memorial service we had at All Souls Unitarian Church in New York just 2 nights ago was the most moving, the most poignant, the most solemn, most transformative service I've ever participated in, with people coming forward and lighting hundreds and hundreds of candles in memory of their loved ones and friends and acquaintances who were lost. It really was sacramental. If it can only be transfiguring, that would be a wonderful thing.
I also think, Dan, that an obvious difference between what happened in Dallas when President Kennedy was killed was an act against an individual, a leader. And I think the country came together and grieved, feeling that we had suffered a loss because that leader had been removed. But this is an attack against America in a very different way. And yes, people were killed, but it struck at symbols in America. And many Americans today feel threatened in a way they didn't feel before. Last night, there was a thunderstorm. I woke up from a dead sleep, wondering if it was a bomb. And I looked out the window and saw the lightning, and I realized it was just thunder. But there must have been many other people who felt the same way. And I think that this attack against the symbols of America, the World Trade Center, Pentagon, strikes us in a very different way than the attack against an individual leader in President Kennedy.
Well, in that sense, it is more like December 7th, 1941, and the days immediately following that, in which there is a national recognition. We have been attacked. We are at war. With all the heavy weight that those words carry. And as much as we would like it to be otherwise, there's a national recognition. But that's what it is. It's war. And in war, there's real blood, real suffering, and real death.
And a very different war than we've ever waged before.
Now, this is one of the points that President Bush and those around him have been underscoring in preceding days and again today. You're watching CBS News continuing coverage of the attack on America on this National Day of Prayer and Remembrance. A day of remembrance across America. Dan Rather at CBS News headquarters in New York. At this hour,
that ultimately this country will prevail as it always has. Thank you, and God bless you.
On September 11th, we lost many of our best and brightest. Standing next to the Hope Garden, the Sphere Memorial will provide a peaceful setting to reflect on what our city has gone through and to remember the friends, co-workers, and loved ones who were taken from us that days. One of these people was Peter Raimondi, and with us now to share their thoughts at this memorial ceremony are his sons, Peter, age 12, and Philip, age 16. Peter and Philip.
Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away into the next room. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference into your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed. At all the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, Think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the ghost of a shadow on it.
Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolutely unbroken continuity. What is this death but a negligible accident? Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well.
At 9:03, 2 minutes from now, the second plane struck America. We cannot forget, and the time between the first and the second plane is just a brief moment in our lives. We have to go on, and we will go on. We will make New York City a better city. We will make America a better country. And we will make the world a better place for everybody in the future. We cannot, under any circumstances, be deterred by the terrorists from what America is all about, from our mission to leave to everybody for generations yet to come a place where they can raise their families, practice their religion, say what they want to say. America was founded based on those principles, and we have to continue. We cannot let the terrorists ever think that they have beaten us, and we cannot let our guard down ever again. We must remember. So please, we can't do enough. We can't say the right things. Let us never forget those that we lost, but let us not lose sight of what we have to do again. Our world is exemplified by the children. They're what we're here for. Please join me in a moment of silence. The second airplane has just struck the second tower. God bless America. Thank you.
And with the
Never
ringing of
forget.
the fire bell, the ceremonies down in Battery Park City are brought to a close. Kind of an emotional morning, yeah.
It was. Mayor Bloomberg says New York will be better and stronger for this. Indeed, we will.
Yeah. This has been a CBS News special report, the attack on America on the 6-month anniversary. Some viewers will now return to regular programming. The early show continues.
Of an infectious disease that she might come down with.
Right.
So this lawsuit seeks compensation for her physical pain, for her anxiety, which carries with it a tremendous stigma. You know, if God forbid she does come down with something, people are not going to say, oh, well, she got it biting into a burger at some food establishment.
Right.
There's going to be all kinds of stories.
I understand you're suing the corporation for $9 million. I know you would probably say there's no amount of money you can put on your well-being, your state of mind, your life. How could it be made right to you in a non-monetary way?
Certain things, tests need to be done, better tests. I know the USDA approve everything, and you know, health inspectors need to be in these places day after day, find out who you're hiring, what they're about, do background checks. I mean, there's so many things that they need to do, so things like this don't happen to anyone else, and definitely don't happen to me. I'm 22 years old, and you don't expect from one day to the next things to change your life like that.
Absolutely. It's an enormous responsibility they have to keep up with all of that, but it absolutely is important. I want to, in all fairness to the restaurant, read a statement from them. The restaurant and its franchises consider safety a top priority. They say, we are deeply troubled by allegations such as these. While we cannot comment on specifics due to the pending litigation, be assured that a thorough investigation is being conducted. That's what they have to say about it. And I just really quick before I go to break, that's the wedding dress you were going to get married in. I want to see you in that dress.
Thank you.
Good luck. I appreciate you sharing your story, too. We got more stories to share with you. This is really just the beginning. I think you'll even be surprised to see the kind of stuff that's really going on. After this quick break, some surprising videotape that will have you thinking twice next time you're on a bus or a plane. Come right back.
The lab technician looks at and goes, oh my God, we have some head lice. I'm with my boyfriend and we're having some champagne.
We have 12 who lived in the United States, including half a dozen in Delray Beach, Florida. In Florida, who lived in Delray Beach for some time. Others lived in Daytona, Hollywood, Florida, and Coral Springs, Florida. We had one who lived in Fort Lee, New Jersey, another who lived in Phoenix, Arizona. Several of these suspects had the same last name, but that does not mean necessarily that they were brothers, but may have obviously come from the extended family. The word in Arabic for brother and cousin is the same, so that doesn't necessarily mean they were closely related. In other news, the intelligence officials continue to say today, and this is quite critical to future planning in terms of retaliation, there is no sign thus far of any state-sponsored terrorism in these acts. All the signs continue to point to the name we've heard so often, Osama bin Laden. Dan?
Jim Stewart. Jim, we have the names and we're prepared to put them up on the screen and may do that as the afternoon goes along, but you said something we think is worth noting, and that is that some of these names may not be, they may be aliases. They may not be the names of, if you will, real people. But for whatever, if anything, they may be worth, these are the names connected with the airline planes on which they were, these people. Now, if you're saying, well, we thought we were going to have the pictures of these people. Yes, the Attorney General and the Director of the FBI indicated yesterday that we would have the photographs of them last night. The photographs have not been released, and we want to underscore what Jim Stewart said. Apparently, they have been released because certainly the Justice Department would want the proper names attached to the proper photographs, being apparently uncertain that they could absolutely, with full confidence, do that. They've elected now not to release the photographs. And as suspected, but now confirmed, a large number of these people were living in the United States and had indeed been trained as pilots, or at the very least received some kind of advanced training as pilots in this country. We'll be covering more about that as time goes along, but right now let's go to Bob Orr in our Washington Bureau to bring us up to date on two things: the state of airline travel in this country and the state of the black boxes, one of which has been recovered. In fact, more than one has now been recovered. Right, Bob?
That's right, Dan. Let's start with the black boxes. 3 were recovered, 2 from the Pentagon crash site and 1 from the Pennsylvania crash site. And I have to tell you, there is bad news for investigators about